how do you navigate this world of media choices and the customer being in control? And I know that we all say that customer centricity is important and the customer's in control, but at TD Ameritrade, where we are an online discount brokerage, 90% of our interactions are done online. It's imperative that digital is at the heart of every strategy we have. And so for us, we have to make sure that we show up as an authentic brand. And that's one of the hard things to do. In financial services, trust, we are the last on the list of trust. Chemicals is 4 ahead of us. Chemicals, I'm like, who even does that? Sorry. So for us, we need to figure out a way to build trust through digital with our consumers. Excuse me. And if I thought about it back in 96, 98, there was no way I was thinking that digital could build a brand. But my first example is going to show you exactly how that has happened for us. So with the prevalence of online video, and you throw that into our Olympic sponsorship, we sponsored Team USA in the Sochi Games. And so I think this is a really good example of how do you actually take the digital world and make it more of an emotional connection. And so for us at TD Ameritrade, we right now, we are actually really low in brand difference. So for us, it's, we would go to focus groups and it's more what's not said than said. You listen to people talk about, if you were Fidelity and you were a car, what would you be? If you were Schwab and you were a soda, what would you be? If you're TD Ameritrade, it's kind of silence. So we have to break that mold of being undifferentiated. And the way to do it, we thought, was to go to the Olympics full force. So in our sponsorship of Team USA in Sochi, we sponsored 7 athletes, 7 Olympians who went to the games. And as we thought about our 360-degree strategy of how do we engage in this multi-channel, multi-screen viewing that we knew was going to be happening to the 180 million households, how are we going to connect with people emotionally? Our advertising, that's our best performing advertising, is open up an account and get $600. But I don't think the Olympics is a place to buy people's love. So for us, it was our opportunity to really not just say the words client-centric, but to show up in a way that was authentic to the games and the spirit of the games. And we know that if you're watching the Olympics on either any of your devices, it's a very emotional, passionate time. And so we decided to harness that and talk about the future generations that will be going to the Olympics. As we interviewed our athletes, they would talk about things like, yes, I dreamed about being an Olympian, but it's the small steps to get there that are really the important moments that define you. And so our campaign anthem became It Adds Up. And if you think about the correlation to financial services, it's very poignant. Because for all the advertisers in our category that are out there with daunting messages of how much money you need to retire and just come talk to us and we'll help shepherd you through it. For us, it was like, just get started. It's just about the small things you do every day that will help you get to greatness and to financial stability. And so the correlation with the athlete mentality, this marginal gain theory, really resonated with us. And in those conversations with the athletes, one of the things they said that was a step along the way they wish they had when they were coming up in the ranks was an opportunity to go to the games when they weren't competing. And if you think about that, you're an Olympian, you're shipped off to Sochi or Rio or South Korea in 2018, and not only are you focused on your event or events, you're also focused on this global media stage, the Olympic Village, the Team USA house, all of that, your friends and your family. It's overwhelming for the athlete. So we decided to create an Olympic Hopeful program where we found 7 athletes who are hoping to compete in the 2018 Games in South Korea and paired them with an Olympian. And by doing that, we were trying to crowdsource funding for them to go over to the Games. And we decided to just simplify the whole strategy, and we have all been through this. We went through a lot of different iterations to get here. We started with a bunch of different ideas, tested them with consumers, and they fell flat until we struck gold with this really great idea, which was to take these 7 athletes and to go out there with a campaign on TD Ameritrade's dime, and then also have our 7 athletes go out there and talk about the fact that it will add up for these athletes come 2018 if you will just tweet "It adds up" and show your support. So some of the creative will be behind me in the social atmosphere of how we did this. And we had a goal of, if we got 35,000 tweets, TD Ameritrade would fund these 7 athletes and their families' trip to Sochi to experience the games without the pressure of competition. And we got 55,000 tweets. So we were really happy with the fact that we exceeded our expectations in that. But what this does is this whole campaign was all online. It was all on social. It was on our owned and earned properties. We advertised it in digital advertising as well. But it really didn't sell TD Ameritrade. It just created a connection. And I think it's really meaningful. And for us to have emotion in a category that really doesn't lend itself to that, it was a really nice brand hit for us.